Good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to the virtual Pan American Academic Conference. I would like to present on the situation of tourism and what might happen after the pandemic has run its course. My name is Malcolm Cooper. I'm a member of the company and a Academician of the university. Let me share my presentation with you. Basically, it's titled, "What Do We Do Now?" It was written a little while ago, and things, of course, with pandemics change very quickly. It's caused us a lot of heartache, a lot of destruction, but it's also a challenge that we could rise above and develop a new form of tourism in this particular case. It's dislocating. We're not sure how people will behave after it. It's certainly disruptive of supply chains and perhaps even what constitutes business performance. But at the same time, it's unfrozen a lot of operating models. There's an opportunity to reset how things get done. So what will be the impact of COVID-19 on tourism? There are two schools of thought. One, that it'll change everything, and the other is that tourism is so embedded in society that as soon as a crisis of contact passes, it will rebound and be just like it was before. What should our response be? Specific predictions can be made, but bear in mind that they can also be varied very quickly. We need to develop a thesis of transformation that works. We need to take advantage of the flexibility that our systems, our businesses showed in this crisis area. And there seems to be a couple of places we could work on. Contactless tourism, working from home overnight, shift in policy, looking not for numbers, but for spend. We're in a burning building, but there are people, there are businesses that have solved part of the problem. This particular illustration is from a hotel in Tokyo, and they are, every single one of the reception booths is AI. You might worry a little bit about a raptor being in front of you, but there's no contact with a human being at this point. And that's maybe how it's supposed to be. That's a longer term view. We should work towards what is possible and what people are willing to do. So we need to find out what those frames of references are. Are they the same as before, or what sort of change can we look forward to? In my opinion, we've redefined, or rather the COVID virus has redefined risk. Risk is widespread, unfocused now. Not just an acute risk from something that might go wrong in the transportation sense. It's widespread and unfocused because we're not sure how the pandemic will pan out. What footprint do businesses actually need in this? Something that our association, our university, and the rest of the world needs to try and work out. How do you have team building, compliance, distribution channels, all working in a virtual model? But to re-emphasize, the magic of the moment is that operating models have been unfrozen. And so we can consider what might happen. And it seems to me that the response of tourism is going to be that one that responds to ripples, small changes. Our question mark is, how do we inculcate the necessary leadership and inclusivity that brings communities together without contact in the courtesy of the virus? Let's hold hands, but figuratively. Let's try and work out a model of tourism development that isn't simply vast numbers in small places. Over-tourism was the catchphrase just a few months ago, if you remember. It's disappeared because there is no tourism. But that doesn't mean we want it back. And I hope that we take the opportunity of these conferences, these small and very short discussions, to understand what education we got from the tourists, from the virus, and how that might translate into more interest in supporting localized tourism. If you want to talk about the industry, though, and we should, we have to understand that it's being dependent on the tourism industry for putting food on the table or sending your kids to school is very different to relying on it for your holiday. So there are two sides of the coin we must look at. The virus has given us the opportunity to do that, to rebuild tourism so that it isn't simply just looking at the holiday aspect, but should be looking at the community basis aspect. UNWTO has recognized the scale of that crisis. The world is at a standstill in tourism terms anyway. But remember, staying at home today means traveling tomorrow. And instead of being just optimistic about the recovery, we should specify. We should try to work towards getting a form of tourism that provides the flow of revenue, but doesn't overwhelm a community, especially when it may still be dealing with the outcomes of the pandemic for some time. So the type of tourism that we could advocate and should advocate during this conference and in other places, that it will be virtual and contactless as far as possible. It isn't impossible to do that. Virtual reality has been around for a while. Contactless is a version of that, but it's still personalized. It can be experiential, loyalty-based, but above all, has to be perceived to be risk-free. And it will be local for quite some time. So let's build in this conference towards how to make that happen while sustaining the tourism industry as far as possible. Thank you very much. That's my allotted 10 minutes. I wish you, everybody, a lot of luck in this task that we have in front of us. Thank you. Yeah, now I just stop it, right?